Okay. So I have kind of a couple things, but I will definitely try to keep this short to 30 minutes so that for people who listen after they can, um, not sigh when they see how long the video is. um, all right. So some of us are in a boot camp with Chris Downing, and he did a call for us on Tuesday, and something kind of stuck out. So he talked about how he um, was doing calls for proving grounds, and he was finding that people were he was doing the calls and he was selling proving grounds, and he felt like this is weird. Like, why am this doesn't feel right to be selling on these team calls. And so he asked on like the third call, like, what are you guys looking for? Like, what are you struggling with right now? Like, what challenges are you facing? What can I help you with? And the chat box went crazy, and everybody was posting about kind of all their challenges. And so he's like, okay, here we go. So he turned the call into like 80% of personal development and 20% into talking about proving grounds. So I'm like, okay, that's he said, your team doesn't need more trainings. They need more of getting to the root of their shit, right? Like their problems. Like, oops, sorry. Oh, he's so little. So just kind of getting to the root of, what you need to work on internally, because we can't become the diamond, star diamond, elite coaches without working through stuff, because we're becoming CEOs of our own business. And if we want the next 5 years to look drastically different than the last 5 years, we've got to change in here and in here, right? We've got to really work through a lot of stuff and become the person that we know we are. So I'm going to quickly go over like some of his notes, because we do know what we're supposed to do, right? We know we're supposed to post on social media. We know we're supposed to do our personal development. We know we're supposed to do our product to the product. We know we're supposed to connect. We know we're supposed to invite. And all of the trainings we do are great because it helps us with those things. And we're very mission and detail oriented people. So we need trainings for sure. But we need to work on ourselves more than that, because then as we're in this positive and excited mindset, our inviting, our connecting, our social media posts are just amazing, and we begin attracting those people into our business. So he talked a lot about the self-confidence and how we may lack self-confidence, and how we lack self-confidence in our personal lives, and how we lack self-confidence in our business lives, and how we have to create a new reality and become a new person and reinvent yourself. And to do that, we have to do things differently than we've been doing. The first thing I kind of want us to do together with this is, if you haven't done this yet, is a mission statement and a vision. And I kind of want us to do this here real quick, just for a few minutes, and then you can take it offline after and kind of, if you need to tweak it, because I've been tweaking mine kind of over the last few days. And if someone can post oh God. I should really take Energize before these calls on Thursday. Oh, see, Abigail's got it. I'm like, okay, I'm here. The thing that Candace posted in our group chat, helping you with your vision and your mission statement. The thing, so Candace Rinaldi kind of put this whole group together for us, and just kind of coordinated getting us all in the group with Chris, and she was Googling like creating your vision, creating your mission statement, and she posted some graphics that just kind of give you some ideas on what you can do. So Beachbody's, you know, mission statement is to help people live happy, healthy, fulfilling lives, right? Shanti talks all, you know, he's tatted up with his like transform, you know, all the things on the steps and stuff. I can't I can't think, but you know what I mean. And Chris has his tattoo, empower, love, inspire, right? So there's a mission statement, there's a vision, there's, you know, all of it. It's nothing's wrong. The first things that come to mind for me are empower, inspire, and motivate. I'm always saying, you know, I say empower instead of like help others. Like I want to help people, but I want to empower them to help themselves, right? Because we start out by helping and supporting them, and I've started out as your leader helping and supporting you, but now I've empowered you to now grow into yourself, and you've grown into your team, and you're growing into your leader, right? And so I like that word empower versus help and support, right? And then inspire and motivate is just something I always there we go, look at Becky's got the I am empowered card. Inspire and motivate is something I always liked us to talk. I'm always saying that as our job as coaches, because it's not our job to push someone into purchasing a challenge pack. It's not, you know, Svetlana and I were talking on our one-on-one call today, and, you know, she has someone who wants to go all in and buy this huge package, and she's like, okay, you can buy the package, but that doesn't mean it's going to work. Like, you've got to make sure you do the work with the package that you're going to receive. Like, you can buy all the things, but you've got to use all the things, right? And so we empower, inspire, and motivate others to actually do the work, to come into themselves, to motivate themselves, to become self-motivated, self-reliable. We can give them all the tools, but they have to do the work, right? And then my mission statement is to empower other moms to live to their potential, to not just live, but to thrive, to complete happiness. I'm sure I'll tweak that, but that's just kind of something I was just writing today. As something that came in as a mission statement. So yeah, so if you want to just take a couple minutes and kind of just jot out some thoughts of of your mission statement, your vision, if anyone's already done it, if they want to share and give more ideas than just mine. But that's mine. Does anyone want to share?
I'm not quite sure how to start this, so I'm just journaling at the moment.
Okay.
What it is, I guess I want them to experience for anybody that works with me. So that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, so I've been thinking about this a little bit too because I go in and watch Danielle Natoni's calls, and I went back and I knew she had a team call with. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I have my headphones in my phone, so I'm like, this is not going to be like my live video the other day with no sound.
I was like, let me check. I was trying to make sure I was turned all the way up.
Yeah, whatever. So I went back and I watched hers, and I don't know where she was in the lineup. He said that he'd done 100 calls or like somewhere around there, but he brought that right in. And that when he started it, he was talking about, he just wasn't feeling it. It was like, I'm just selling. And he's like, how many, these Beachbody trainers should be thanking us. And if you guys, I'd go in and find Danielle Natoni on the YouTube. And if you don't watch any of her other calls, that doesn't matter, but go watch the one with Chris Downing, because it reiterates what he's done in this team group that Candace created. But it really made me kind of really think. And so like I put to empower others to create a healthy lifestyle for a long life. I have longevity in my family on both sides. My great aunties and my grandmas were in their 90s, upper 80s when they passed away. And really, for that generation, they were very healthy. For this generation, with all of the crap in the atmosphere, in our soil, in our water, and I was raised on a farm. So, I mean, I was fed well, fed good. But, I mean, even like the Shakeology has the nutrients in it that aren't in our produce because it's incapable of being in there. So like, I want to live a long time, but I want to be healthy living a long time. And I feel like that this is an opportunity to empower that healthy longevity for others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I loved how he said, we are part of the solution, so we
Yes.
do have that for people. Mm-hmm. Awesome. One of the next things he talked about was identifying your strengths and weaknesses, and working on your weaknesses. So there are so many opinions out there on if you should be working on your strengths or if you should be working on your weaknesses, by tons of personal development authors and gurus. You absolutely should be working on both, strengths and weaknesses, I believe. I believe to get your day going, you should start with your strengths so that you feel confident and empowered and you're like, oh shit, yeah, I'm good at this. Like, and you're like, I got this. Like, I'm good. And then, okay, here we go. Now let's work, working on your weaknesses. And you've got to force yourself to do that, because it's easy to just be like, no, I'm good, but you've got to force yourself to kind of work on those weaknesses. Maybe they're something like comparing yourself to other people, or some things that you find yourself doing that you shouldn't be. um, yeah, so I think doing that is a good exercise, and to kind of go through and identify where your weaknesses are and how to get better at those each day. This is huge too. Maybe we can kind of do I've been thinking a lot lately about like themes of the month, kind of. Maybe we focus March on this next topic so that we have more time to do it, because I don't want to brush it over. But visualizing the confident person that you want to be. Like, visualization is huge, 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 right? because if you see it, you believe it, right? Or if you believe it, you see it, or whatever. Again, there's conflicting how to watch word that one. But if you can visualize, there's great visualization exercises, and I'll find some. But if you can like close your eyes, meditate for a few minutes each morning and visualize you stepping into that confident person that you are, that leader you want to be, that leader you are, making sure you hold true to yourself. You know, if you see yourself at Summit as walking across stage as a 5-star diamond elite coach, like visualize that. What does that look like? What are you wearing? You know, I always laugh that I need to do this more. I visualize myself walking across the stage as a 15-star diamond coach and being the only one not in a ball gown. Because they all wear these beautiful gowns, and I'm like, not doing it. But what will I still look nice. I'm not gonna wear my yoga pants, but you know, like just what will you wear? What colors will you wear? What will you hear? What will you smell? What will you see? Like whatever that goal is, you know, just really, really getting into that visualization. So maybe we'll make March visualization month, because I think it's super important. You've got to be able to see where you're going. You've got to be able to see the big picture. There's these little goals, but you've got to be able to see the 5-year plan and that big picture, because that's going to get you motivated and moving every single day when you're like, I'll just turn on Netflix, or, you know, so it's that big vision is what keeps you going. So we'll work on that. In the big thing, and I did a video on this, but I think I'm going to do another one. I'm writing it, sorry. Accepting responsibility, right? 100% accepting responsibility of where you are in your business, where you are in your life, where you are in finances, where you are in all of the things, right? I did a video of this in the challenge group page the other day, because, you know, I'll check in on challengers, and the stuff that they come back with, I'm like, I'm the type of person who, if you ask me for my advice and you have told me in the past that please be honest with me, actually, even if you haven't said that, if you ask me for my advice, I'm going to give you my 100% truth. I feel like I'm Jim Carrey in Liar Liar. I cannot lie to you. I cannot tell you what you want to hear because it's going to make you happy. Like I can't. I'm incapable of doing it. I can't. And I've always been like that. Like, and I don't give unsolicited advice, but if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. And I've lost family relationships over this. I've lost friendships over this. In high school, people were like, oh my God. I'm like, well, what did you want me to say? This is how I feel. This is my advice. Like, you don't have to take it and listen to it, but don't be mad at me about it, you know, because I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. And so, you know, when someone comes into my inbox and they're like, you know, I 100% am like, I'm working on accepting responsibility and why this dang scale won't move. And so I'm on day 11 of no sweets and the scale still won't move. So I'm like, well, screw it. I'm going to go back to my sweets because I don't think that's it. Like, I'm like, you know, but I'm not, because I actually feel really good. So it's not just about that number. But, you know, like just I accept that I was eating, like, you guys, this is literally what was happening, that I was having my recovery and my banana. And then as I was making my omelet, I was snacking on powdered mini donuts. Like I was like days in a row. Like it wasn't like, oh, okay, I'll have one of those. Like I would like put a little bowl out for myself so I could eat them as I was making my omelet. Like honesty here, right? So I knew that I had an issue and I needed to rein it in, right? And so I 100% accepted responsibility that I was eating mini powdered donuts that I bought for Ella. So you know, you just this, and the same thing with my business. I 100% accept where my business is right now. Absolutely. Sure. The company dynamic changed. Things got different. You know, I didn't embrace Instagram when I needed to, like all of the things, but you've got to 100% accept that. So yes, everybody's writing their vision, mission statements. Awesome. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so strengths, weaknesses, visualization, your mission statement. And we're going to work on visualization together because I feel like that could be a whole call. You know, we could do a lot on visualization. So I don't want to just brush that off. I kind of want us to work on that, and I'll find things on YouTube. And if you guys find things, if you're researching some personal development stuff and on visualization, absolutely please post it. But I think taking the first 15-20 minutes of these calls each Thursday and doing more of this talk is more helpful than sometimes talking about volume and all the other things, right? Does anyone have anything they want to add? You know, you get out what you put in, of course, all that good stuff. Okay, so we talked about last week tracking, right? We have our business activity tracker and we love it. Like this helps us track our activities and we know we're like check, 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 check. But there are things on this where we need to be more specific in tracking, right? Your follow-ups, your invites, your current customers and coaches, right? So briefly last week, I talked about a binder system. And I want to talk a little bit more in detail on that because I think there were still some questions on it. I was getting inbox questions. So if I'm getting questions, more people have the questions, right? So being able to go back to a customer or somebody and say something like, you know, like you were talking to somebody last week and they're like, you know what, we have the flu right now. We feel awful, but yes, I'm totally interested in as soon as we feel better. 48 hours later, for you to slide into their inbox and be like, how's everybody feeling? I've been thinking about you. Gosh, it must be awful having the whole family having the flu. Is there anything, are people around you helping? Is there anything I can do? Goes a long way when it comes time for an actual invite. So if you can get into a system, because we can't rely on our brains. We're getting older. Our babies steal our brains when we grow them. And then they continue to steal them later. So we can't rely on our brains. So we need to be able to take such good notes on people so that we can slide back. You know, a lot of people are like, oh gosh, I get crickets or I get ghosted. Go back in and check on what you guys talked about. Like if you can bring up what you talked about with them on a personal level and check in there. How's the baby sleeping? I know you were having trouble, you know, getting the baby to sleep in his own crib. Like, how's that going? You know, and not even talking about Beachbody, right? So the binder system is a way for you to, you know, kill a couple birds with one stone, right? Like you can, what I recommend is similar to the index card system. So you have so I printed out a couple things tonight because Selena and I were talking again on our one-on-one call. And one of the cool things about the things that I'm going to say here now is you can use some of this stuff, you can try some of this stuff, and then you can tweak it, because in about 3 months, you're going to have your system, right? So you can try this binder system, you can try these things I suggest, and then you can tweak and fix, and then you're going to be like, okay, I got it. So some people like electronics, some people like systems, some people like apps, some people like Excel spreadsheets, whatever. You find whatever works for you. It just seems like every time I talk to any of you guys, you're like, I'm a pen and paper girl. so we're going to just keep talking in that sense. I found on the Beachbody website tonight two contact list papers. So I will get these. I will show you I will post about these. One is just I went into training, and then there's a little search bar, and I search contact list. And this one came up, right? And so it's just first name, last name, email, phone, contact date, follow-up date, comments, okay? This I suggest to be kind of your big list, okay? So this is the big list. Once you are in contact with someone, you're talking back and forth, and you have actually invited them, they get their own piece of paper in your binder system. Okay, so this is your contact list. You're getting to know them and stuff. You're not really sure if they're interested or you're going to invite them yet. Kind of like Micah talked about, you take about a month, you forming, you're getting to know them. So a month later, you're like, I'm going to invite this person to my March challenge group. We started forming in December, January. I'm going to invite them to my March challenge group. Okay. You invite them and they say, sure, I'd love to hear more. Okay. Now they get their own piece of paper in your binder system. So it's February, I was going to say it's July. It's February 27th, and Susan said, yes, I want to hear more about your March challenge group. So now you're writing about Susan. I met Susan here. You're like kind of giving her a little space where you're writing who she is and where you met her, and kind of just setting that baseline. And then you send her an invite to the product info group or something. Okay. And we're going to start there. That's her third party tool. Okay. And so you write that, sent product group. Then the night before the product info group start, whatever date that is, she's in the binder for that date that you need to follow up, and you pull out, at the beginning of your day, you pull out your binder and you're like, okay, it's February 28th and I'm supposed to follow up with these 10 people. She's in there and you're like, hey, did you get the invite to the product info group? It starts tomorrow. I know these aren't really when they're starting, but I'm super excited to have you learn more about it. Is there a certain product you're excited to learn more about? Like whatever, you're asking questions. And then the day of the product, then you move her to the next day. The day of the product info group, the day starts, maybe halfway through the day, you're like, have you seen some of the posts? I'm sure you're at work, but maybe you can check is there a time you're going to check in on them, and kind of get very specific so that what days and times it's time to follow up with this person based on what you've invited them to already. And then once the share a cart's in, they go in the next day, because if they're not in, you're going to follow up the next day. Hey, did you get my share card okay? Just want to make sure the system can be funny. Are you going to complete that today? Like, be very specific on asking them. Don't be afraid to ask. When are you going to complete it? When are you going to watch that video? When will you be completing the product info group? When? Because then it gives you an idea of when you're going to follow up and when they're going to go into the binder system. And then once they become a customer or a coach, maybe that's, again, a second section of the binder. it's the days of the month, and you're like, okay, share a cart's in, they became a customer on March 2nd. I'm going to follow up with them on March 5th, you know, maybe I'll track their order. Did you get it yet, or whatever? You know, have you logged into your Beachbody On Demand? How can I help you? Like, so you're moving them through the binder system as they've already become a customer or coach, so that you're making sure you're giving them all of what you promised. You know, I'm your personal coach. I'm going to help you. They don't place their order and you're like, peace out. Hope you lose some weight. You know, like, you want to make sure you're working with them. Your 10 in play. This is a big one. So this is all of those, if this is those people that are like, yes, I'm interested. Yes, I watched the thing. And you're like, you don't have to, I put them on here before I've even sent them a share a cart, but we're having this conversation. They're very interested. And so they go on this 10 in play. They also have a paper in the binder system. But this is a way for me to have a list right out front to know where I'm at with these people, and how, you know, the follow-up, I'll put like share a cart sent, or deciding on Shakeology flavor, or possibly only going to do Beachbody On Demand versus a challenge pack, whatever those little notes need to be. And these 10 in play people hear from me a lot. Like, these are the people that are constantly hearing from me, right? So does that make sense? Does that help a little bit more with the binder system, like a little more detail? So I would have, maybe if you're going to have a binder, I would have like your contact list, which is like just your big 100 people list, kind of on the front of your binder, you know, the first, print out a couple pages like this. So this is your list of 100, 200 people. And then cross them off once they get their own piece of paper in the binder, which means you're in good conversation with them. And then move the paper once they become a customer or a coach, or they just go in the follow-up. And you want to put the months, you want to do the tabs, the days of the month, but you also want to put the months in. So say you're talking to someone in February, and then finally at the end of February, they're like, I know I have a promo code. I know you have a promo code for me. I know it's $20 off for Barbara, but I just can't pull it off next month. Can you tell me what the deals are in March? Maybe follow up with me around March 15th, and so then they go into the March part of the binder, right? And then on March 1st, you take all those people that were in March and you sort them through the days of the month in March. Okay, so it's March 1st. This person said follow up on the 15th, so I'm going to put them in the 15th day, and you're putting them in days, so that when you start your power hour, you have your contact list of I'm going to invite 10 people from this list, and then you're going to open up your binder for that day, and you're like, okay, I have 10 pieces of paper in here for follow-up. Like, so it's done. And then you're going to go to your customer and coach section that has the day, and you're going to go, okay, I have 10 people to check up on that have already placed an order. So you always know who you're talking to, who you're inviting, who you're following up with, and who you're checking in on. And they're impressed by your remembering that they were on vacation, that they had the flu, that their baby was having a hard time sleeping. Like, make sure you're making those little notes so that they know that you care. They'll be very impressed by that personal touch. Okay. So we have our business activity tracker list, we have our big contact list, we have our 10 in play list, and then we have our follow-up system. I printed tonight a March printable calendar out. I did this for my water challenge in March, and to have this on my desk or my bench here every single day to know that I had a goal, 100 ounces of water a day, and like it's really like this is my February one. Like it just I had highlights and it just really helped me. So for March, I've decided to use this for social media. So you know how on Sunday night we're like, we're gonna talk about some stuff. I've decided I'm gonna use something like this because I sit down with you guys on Sunday night and I write out all of my ideas on this and I never look at it again. Like I just forget. So I'm like, I need something else. So that came to me today that I'm going to have this so that it's, so that I can say, go live about the business opportunity group, invite to the product info group, just like little reminders on what day I'm going to do what. And Sunday is March 1st, so it's going to be perfect for us to start that on Sunday night. So we can kind of talk about that on Sunday night and how we're going to tweak that. But basically what I'm going to do, because Team Cup totally helped me do this, is this new little things that I've just shared with you here is going to be my system here. I'm going to have Staples put that together. So I'm going to have Staples, I'm going to have Lauren send all of these papers off to Staples and put them into our, whatever the heck this is called, to make sure that it's something that, like Selena was talking about today, she just wants a couple pages that she can flip to and know, okay, I have my tracker, I have my contact list, I have my 10 in play, and I have my social media calendar. And so there's those 3 things I'm going to look at every day in a booklet. So that's my ideas. Because what I started to do is make my big list in this Team Cup, so I'm already kind of doing these things. I just need a system that's going to speak to me. And so I'm just tweaking the systems that I'm already doing so that I'm not grabbing, so my 10 in play is over here. Oh, my business activity tracker is over here. I'm going to just have it all in one place instead of 3 to 4. And I'm sure I have to add whatever Micah talked about on her training Jessica shared. But for now, that's the simplicity of it for me. So kind of finding what works for you is key. Making sure your personal development is the first thing you do each day to start your day, just like with your workout. Like those are the 2 things that just set your mindset and tone for the day. And you just make sure you're working on you so you can help other people, right? Any questions, any comments, anyone want to add, share? You good? All right, so it was 40 minutes instead of 30, sorry. 20 and 20 minutes of personal development, 20 minutes of training. All right, guys. Thank you. I hope this was helpful. We are going to have an amazing March. We're going to finish February strong, and we're just going to keep rolling it out. Christina tells me every week on our one-on-one call that she's so happy with the energy of this team and how great everybody's doing and how we've all come together and really are sharing and giving so much to each other. So I think what we're doing is working. Yes. All right, guys. Good night. Thank you.